We made it to the end. Oh my God. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Untitled, and if you are here, then you have probably gone through episodes 1 through 7 with me, and here we are on the final episode of the first season of Bridgerton. Y'all, we made it. It was so good. Before we get started, as always, please like, subscribe, thumbs up, talk in the comment section below, and let's just, I don't know, you guys, is this the last time we're gonna talk? I don't know. Yes, I am re-wearing a dress I wore at the beginning of the season. You know, first episode was me in white, last episode me in white. It is symbolic. It is also symbolic of the fact that I only bought 3 dresses for this series, so y'all were gonna get, you know, one of the dresses again. So that's also what it's symbolic of. I was broke. Also a whole lot of glitter on my face. I don't know if y'all can tell. I put this eyeshadow on and now the glitter is everywhere. Everywhere. Like everywhere. Okay, let's jump into it. So we start off the episode kind of with this like a little strange to me story about the fastest betrothal kind of in the London society, like in the season that has ever happened. This betrothal took place in 1804. It took place in like 4 minutes between a couple, and then the couple was kind of never seen from again. I think basically what they're trying to do is kind of link that story to the story of other people's marriages. We see a shot of Queen Charlotte looking at her husband, King George, being upset because, you know, she's watching George go through another fit. We see Lady Violet in her bed kind of waking up and reaching over for her husband and him not being there. And then the show moves over to showing again Simon and Daphne having the worst time ever in their marriage. Granville is actually at the Cliveden estate and he is painting the first portrait of Daphne and Simon together. And they are super uncomfortable. Like literally Simon has Daphne at like arm's length. His arm is on her shoulder. He's super far away. She looks uncomfortable and, you know, Granville's trying to get them to get a little closer. As they're standing there, Simon is telling Daphne that, you know, since she got her period, he will be leaving London soon. And Daphne's like, no, you're staying till the end of the season. And she asked him pretty pettily, oh, are you going to be attending the ball we're having soon? He's like, yeah, I'm a host. And Granville finally is like, listen, this is not working. Could you guys like get closer together? So they do. And of course, they look into each other's eyes and Granville is just like, yes, because that is what he was looking for. And Simon and Daphne are looking at each other and they still, you know, in their eyes, they still want each other so much. And eventually they kind of like look away. Over at the Bridgerton house, we have Eloise badgering Benedict about Madame de la Croix. She's like, what do you really know about her? I kind of think you need to stay away from her. And Benedict misinterprets this. He actually thinks Eloise is being a snob about him hanging out with people who are not considered high society. So he kind of like has a little cut down for her. And that really was the moment where I was like, okay, yeah, Benedict is probably still gonna get with Sophie later on in the show. Boring. It's really funny because Lady Violet comes in and is like, Francesca will be coming home soon. And I'm sure the audience is like, who is Francesca? If y'all don't remember, there are many Bridgerton children. Let's just go through all of the Bridgerton children. I never did that with y'all in case you were super confused. We have Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca, Gregory, and Hyacinth. So Francesca is child, what, number 6? And so Francesca this season has been away the whole time. Now, if you guys are like my husband was like, why wasn't she in the show? This is pretty consistent to the book. Francesca like is never around. What we learn in Francesca's own book is that Francesca, out of all of the Bridgerton children, she is the most private. She's the one that really, really values her privacy. She doesn't like, she loves her family, but she doesn't enjoy being in this like huge group the way the rest of them do. I actually love her book quite a bit. Out of all of the children, she's one of the only ones who struggles with infertility. And it's really funny because when she finally is able to conceive with her husband, which you learn, I think, in the second epilogue of the book, she doesn't tell her family about it for like a year. She never tells them she's pregnant and she barely tells them anything. I mean, her mom does not find out that she had a child until like the baby is several months old. So Francesca is a very, very private character compared to some of the other Bridgertons. So it makes sense to me that we're just not gonna see a whole lot of her compared to some of the other people. Somehow I completely missed saying this. I think in my other review, I skipped a paragraph, but we did see Marina, you know, drink that concoction and basically she kind of collapses. So now Penelope is calling up after Marina. She walks in the room and Marina is up and well. Penelope is like, you need to like calm down, go back to bed. And Marina's like, listen, Penelope, the baby is gone. And now that the baby is gone, I can go home. Marina apologizes to Penelope and she says, I'm so sorry about this whole situation. You were completely right. Colin was a good man and it was wrong what I was trying to do. We've all now watched this episode. Penelope standing there, taking these apologies, knowing she is Lady Whistledown and she has messed up Marina's whole life. Bad vibes. All the Featheringtons, all y'all, nasty people. I do love Portia though. I know, I'm messed up. So as Marina's having this conversation with Penelope, they look out the window and a man has arrived. Now guys, I knew right away who this man was. I knew this man was Philip Crane. For those of you, again, who have not read the books, Philip Crane is the main person in book 5. I will spoil this far more when we get towards the end of the episode, but for right now, know that I am very excited about this being Philip Crane. Now cut to a scene where Daphne's walking through the market with her mom, and she's telling her mom that she and the Duke are just gonna be going their separate ways after the season, and Lady Violet's like, no, you need to like forgive him. That's how couples make it through. Kind of hate that I'm sure Daphne was like, Simon's been lying to me, and left out all of the nasty shit that she did. Anyway, Daphne says that she doesn't know how to move on, and as she's saying this, Lady Featherington shows up. And Violet is over there, still trying to give her the cut direct, still trying not to pay any attention to her. And Lady Featherington, she has no shame. She walks up to Daphne and is like, I heard you're having a ball. Somehow my invites got lost in the mail. I mean, this woman has the audacity. She tells Daphne that her daughters are completely in tears over this ball. And Lady Violet's all like, well, maybe your daughters need to learn who's at fault here. Kind of blaming it on Portia, and Daphne, thank you, Daphne, was like, you know what? No, we made a mistake. You guys are invited. While still in the marketplace, someone comes up to them and lets Portia know that Mr. Crane has arrived, and Daphne hears this and is super excited, thinking that her letter to the general worked. Daphne goes back to the Featherington house with Portia. Portia walks in and starts talking to who she believes to be George Crane, saying, why did it take you so long? And he very sadly says, no, I'm actually not George, I'm Philip Crane. Quickly, let's just jump in and talk about Philip Crane. The actor who's playing Philip, he is a good looking man, but in the books, Philip is like a big hulk of a man. Philip Crane in the books is a botanist. He spends most of his time outdoors. He is not comfortable around people. He actually never thought he would need to lead the family. He is a second son. So he is taking the place of his brother, and he has no idea really how to interact with society. In my head, I imagined him being more like, especially with a show like this where they're gonna do men of color, I would have loved like kind of a Jason Momoa looking man, like someone that is big and takes up a lot of space, but also can play incredibly vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like that's what I had in mind. So I'm not disappointed necessarily, but like in my mind, Philip would have really taken up space that he would have been uncomfortable with. He is uncomfortable taking up this much space. So I was just kind of like, oh, this is a normal British looking man. I would have just loved a little something more. And we just introduced yet another white love interest, and I think it would have been just interesting to have more men of color in this show. Back to this really sad scene, Philip lets Portia and the rest of the room know that George died weeks ago on the battlefield. And Marina is obviously broken about this, and she leaves the room, and Daphne follows after her, and Marina has this just like, this scene actually made me cry. Philip brought a letter to Marina that George was writing before he passed away. It is an unfinished letter where he tells her that when he got back, they were gonna run away together and start a life together and raise their child. And Marina is just, I mean, Ruby Barker kills this scene, watching her be so broken as she realizes that the man that she thought abandoned her had never abandoned her, and that he still loved her to his dying breath. And she says there was a good reason that he couldn't be there, and it's because he has passed away. And it is, I didn't cry the first time I watched it, but watching her again, like just really watching her was so awful. Oh my God. Like I said, towards the beginning of this scene, I will be giving more spoilers about Marina and George and Philip at the end, but for right now, just know like this is so sad. Eloise shows up unannounced at Madame Delacroix's shop and knocks on the door, trying to get more information about, you know, Delacroix being Lady Whistledown. It's actually a really funny scene because there's so much misunderstanding happening here. So first off, Eloise gets into the shop and Madame Delacroix clearly doesn't want her there because, surprise, Benedict is like in the next room. And the whole time, because Eloise believes Madame Delacroix to be Lady Whistledown, she's like, yo, maybe you could do right by the Featheringtons, because wasn't that kind of wrong? Madame Delacroix thinks that Eloise is talking about doing right by her brother, so this is just a whole scene of complete misunderstandings by everybody in the scene. At Cliveden, Daphne is preparing for their ball and she runs into Simon, who is preparing to go to Will's fight. And once again, she asks him, why are you so mad at your father? And he will not tell her. All he will tell her is that she's better off without him and she's better off living alone than with him. Anyway, we then cut to a scene where we are finally at the fight and we see Will kind of getting ready for the fight. His wife Alice kind of walks up to him to kind of talk about their future, and Will just kind of cuts her off, and he's like, listen, I can't keep fighting for the rest of my life. We have to have another plan. And that's when we as the audience understand that he has made a deal with Lord Featherington. He's gonna throw the fight. Lord Featherington walks up to some very seedy looking men who we kind of learn are like, I guess, bookies, and he tells them that he wants to put up a sizable wager against the man that Will is planning to fight. Again, remember, Will is the person that everyone thinks is gonna win. These men know that Lord Featherington is broke, so they don't really believe that he's gonna put down any big amount of money. And he's like, here you go, the deed to my house. When I saw that, y'all, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, if Will does not throw this fight, the Featheringtons are literally gonna lose their home. Lord Featherington is the worst. Back at the Featherington house, they still have no money for new dresses. And so Portia says that the girls are gonna have to rewear something to go to the ball. And it is so funny because Prudence is like, I'd rather not go. And Philippa is like, can one even rewear a dress? Like, these girls have never reworn anything in their lives. Also, I never remarked on this. I have spoken about how much I love what Lady Featherington is wearing, but what she is wearing is clearly like out of date, right? If anyone in the comments knows more about kind of like late 1700s, early 1800s fashion, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Everyone else is wearing the empire waist, literally everyone, including all of the older ladies, but Portia is still very clearly wearing a dress shape that is out of fashion. I feel like she probably looked good in that dress in like 1780s, and she's like, baby, I'm not changing what I'm wearing, okay? I looked good in this. We do know that overall the Featheringtons have the worst style in the entire ton, and I wonder if everyone else is always thinking when they see Portia that she needs to get with the times. Yeah, if any of y'all know more about kind of pre-Regency and Regency fashions, let me know. I'm super interested. Portia walks into the front room and they are surprised to see that Philip is still there, and Philip asks to speak to Marina. Philip, wonderful man that he is, talks to Marina and tells her that he would like to marry her so that he can do right by her. He knows that George would have done right and he wants to do what George would have wanted. And this to me was so dumb. I know that Marina is supposed to be the strongest of characters. I know that Marina does not think that she is still pregnant. However, Marina is still a ruined woman, and her reputation, this is not gonna just stay in London. It could have spread by this time to her family. So she says no to him. She turns down his marriage offer, and she says that she cannot marry a man that she does not know or love. This makes no sense to me. I understand they're trying to show that Marina always is gonna stand in her truth and stand in her strength, and she's not gonna do what she doesn't think is right. But this just kind of feels a little anachronistic to me, the amount of independence they're trying to show that Marina has. Yes, she is a strong woman, but she is also a woman whose reputation has been torn to shreds. She would have wanted a man to take care of her and make sure that her reputation could be a little patched up. It just seemed a little like, oh, you guys are making a point that Marina don't need no man. I was just kind of like, okay, here we go again. Daphne, you know, just being all nosy and snoopy, starts to go through the old Duke's office where she finds all of those letters that Simon sent to his dad as a kid, and she sees that they're all unopened. And of course, Daphne thinks it's her right, so she starts to open the letters. Yes, she is definitely invading Simon's privacy, but at least she starts to understand what he went through as a child. Meanwhile, at the fight, I mean, it is so clear that Will is better than the other fighters. You can kind of see the bookies noticing that something is a little off. Anthony is sitting across from the fight. Sienna, I don't know if I've already mentioned, she's here. She's sitting with her new lover across, and they keep sharing these looks, and you can tell, I mean, the looks are getting heated and heated and heated, and the next thing we know, they are downstairs beneath the stands going at it like rabbits. How did they get down there? Nobody noticed? Nobody was like, I see two people going underneath the stands. That's fun. We're watching Will fight the other fighter. Again, Will is so clearly better. I mean, he hits him and he hits him, but finally, Will lets the man beat him up. Will gets KO'd, the other man wins. And again, we watch the bookies look at Lord Featherington. So as Lord Featherington is like, I won, we watch the bookies look at each other because they know that he did something to influence this fight. Meanwhile, back at Cliveden, Lady Danbury shows up to help Daphne with the party, and she finds Daphne in the old Duke's study. Daphne starts asking Lady Danbury about Simon's relationship with his father and about the Duke in general. She finally tells Lady Danbury that she did not know that Simon had such a difficulty speaking as a child and all the things he went through with his horrible relationship with his dad. Back in London, Simon walks up to Will and is so upset with Will for throwing the fight. He's like, where's your honor? I would have helped you. And Will is like, what is more honorable than helping your family? I actually love this because I feel like so often in TV shows, the poor are expected to be like super honorable and never do anything that would help their own situation. I love them showing that a person will kind of do anything for their family, including like what other men, rich men like Simon, men who don't need anything, would call dishonorable. He is so right. What is more honorable than making sure that your family is taken care of? He gets all up in Simon's face and is like, don't you worry about me and mine. I got my family. What about you and your wife? Why don't you go fix that, Simon? The fight is now over. Lord Featherington is now rich. He shows up to the house and is like, Portia, I got some money. Our family is fixed. And Portia does ask him, where did you get this? How did you get this? He keeps shrugging it off. And she kind of shrugs it off eventually. It's like, well, the girl's got dresses now. The next morning, Daphne, who now understands her husband a hell of a lot better, decides to finally eat breakfast with him. She tells him that she wants to go to Bridgerton house because Fran is back, and she asks him if he'll go with her, and with this little like shy look. And then she kind of gives the pretense that if he doesn't go, it'll look weird to her brothers. And I think Simon would have gone anyways, but yes, he agrees to go with her to Bridgerton house. They end up going to Bridgerton house where Daphne greets her sister Fran. I will say, and I have said this before, to me, truly, Francesca, the actress who plays Francesca, I know she is young, but an older version of her is what I thought of for Daphne for the TV show. And what Phoebe looks like is what I thought of for Francesca. And Louise is sitting on the couch eating some candy, and Benedict kind of comes over to her and tells her to never barge in at Delacroix ever again. And then Anthony barges in, starts eating Eloise's candy, and it's like, what y'all talking about? And at first, Benedict doesn't want to say, but then he finally kind of gets the strength and he's like, I am seeing Madame Delacroix, basically. And Anthony's like, good for you. Find love where you can find it. Because at this point, he thinks that he and Sienna are back together. So he is happy for anyone to find love where they can find it, because look at him. He has found love with an opera singer. So surely Benedict can find love with Madame Delacroix. Colin sings a little song about a cat at the piano. I was so happy for Luke Newton. I was like, look at you. I'm sure he went to drama school. He has a great voice, probably has been on the West End. Look at that boy blow. You better sing. Penelope shows up and is looking at Colin sing so beautifully before Eloise beckons her over and tells her her theory that Madame Delacroix is Lady Whistledown. And Eloise is like, listen, I have already talked to her. She's gonna print something good about your family. And Eloise also tells her that like she's so envious of Madame Delacroix to be unmarried, have a business, and live in the life. And Penelope, again, is like, that is not the life that I want, Eloise. Over on the sofa, Simon has been surrounded by the Bridgerton children, Hyacinth and Gregory, and Hyacinth tells him that she wants a pony, and he makes her a little origami pony, and he starts making little noises with it, and everyone is all charmed. And that's when Daphne like really looks at him and it's just like, this man would make an excellent father. Back at the Featherington house, Madame Delacroix shows up with some real ugly dresses that nobody else in the ton wanted, but you can see Portia is delighted with them. Marina comes out of her room and starts to feel a little woozy, drops the plate she is holding, and asks them to call for a doctor. And it's funny because the show kind of zooms in on Madame Delacroix watching the whole thing, because at this point, I guess everyone watching still thinks Madame Delacroix could be Lady Whistledown. I'd love to know, for those of you who watched the show for the first time, you had never read the books, were you guys fooled by this? Did you ever think Madame Delacroix was Whistledown? Like, I'd love to know, who did you think was Whistledown the entire time? Let me know in the comments. And of course, we find out that, yeah, Marina is still pregnant. The doctor's like, did you think some tea was gonna dislodge this like 4-month-old child? Girl, what's happening? Meanwhile, across town, Sienna and Anthony are spending time together and they are so in love, and they start talking about the ball. Sienna starts teasing him about who he's gonna dance with, and Anthony is so wrapped up in love and he begs her to go with him to the ball. There are so many anachronistic, crazy things that happen this episode. A man like Anthony, I am so sorry, would never in 100 billion years invite his mistress to a ball where the rest of high society is going to be. He says, oh, my family's so powerful, no one would ever say anything. And I am so glad that we have a character like Sienna. And she tells him he is crazy. She's like, I could not possibly go, but he keeps begging her to go, begging her to go. Now, we'll notice she never says yes. They do continue to kiss, but Sienna never says that she's gonna go with him. He just assumes that she's gonna go. I will talk later on about this in the last scene with Sienna and Anthony, but I love who Sienna is. I love that they made her a really real character who loves him. There's nothing villainous about her. She is a real woman, and she knows where her place is in society, and she knows that she would never be accepted by high society. So I really like this character, and And I'm so glad that they humanized her. I feel like another show could have just made her this evil temptress without even trying to understand that she was a real person. Bath and Simon back at Cliveden are looking at their finished portrait, and they're flirting a little bit and kind of starting to like reconcile. And that's when they learn that all of the guests are starting to arrive at the ball. We see Lord Granville and his wife over in the corner talking to Lord Weatherby. And we also see Will and his wife Alice looking amazing. You can tell that Will has spent the earnings from the fight on a new wardrobe for he and his wife at this party. Now guys, I am a little worried about them because given what we see happens later in this episode to Lord Featherington, are the bookies gonna come back on Will? Eloise arrived at the party looking so nervous. Now, you guys remember, Eloise has not come out into society yet, so this is like her first big event. So she looks so nervous and she runs into Daphne and they have this beautiful sisterly moment, and Eloise thanks Daphne for being the perfect daughter so that she wouldn't have to be. And now the Featheringtons arrive, and of course, if Portia's got one thing, she's got the audacity. She walks in the room like, what y'all gonna do? She shoos one of her daughters off because she sees Mr. Finch. I really hope Philip and Mr. Finch get together. I hope we get to see a snippet of their terrible, tacky wedding. Y'all imagine what Philippa's wedding dress would look like? Because back then, you didn't always have to wear white to your wedding. You could wear different colors. I would love to see her just in the most tacky, flower-covered frock in the world. Of course, Carissa's mama and that other real petty mama walk up to her and are like, oh, so you're here. That's really interesting. So like, where's your husband? Gambling, probably? We heard he got a big win the other night. We then immediately cut to a scene where Lord Featherington is out at a brothel looking for some fun, feeling good about himself. Madame opens the door and is like, yes, of course, your regular is waiting for you. But instead of a woman sitting there, it's the two bookies from the fight. I missed this on my first watch through. This is the silliest thing I think I have ever seen. The men are like, yeah, please come have a seat. We've been waiting for you, Lord Featherington. And one puts down a bottle on the table, which I think reads laudanum poisoning. Who in the world is like, we gonna kill somebody and brings a bottle that says poison? What is this? Audience is not stupid, you guys. The audience can understand if the men put down something on the table, it doesn't need to read poison. Colin and Benedict arrive at the party, and Colin leaves Benedict to walk over to Penelope. He apologizes to her, much like Marina did earlier, and says, I realized you were just trying to protect me and I was such a fool. And she's like, no, Colin, no. If you love someone, you should really, really tell them. And then she's like, Colin, I have something to tell you. And we can tell she's about to tell him that she loves him. And Colin's like, yes, Penelope, I have something to tell you too. And instead of him being a gentleman and waiting, he's like, nah. Penelope, I'm leaving. I'm going to Greece. She is obviously like shocked by this. He tells her that she's actually inspired him to go traveling because remember, I think the last episode or the episode before that, she told him he should go off on his travels, you know, to go get tomatoes for Marina. So it's actually Penelope's fault that this man is deciding to leave the country right now. And she is heartbroken, which she should be, you meddling hoe. He asks her to dance and she says, I can't. And she just like runs away. Before she gets out, she runs into Eloise, who tells her that she's gonna go talk to Queen Charlotte about who she thinks Lady Whistledown is. As Eloise tries to make her way to the Queen, she is stopped by one of the Queen's servants, who basically lets her know, actually the Queen is gonna catch Lady Whistledown in the act tonight with the Bow Street Runners. Eloise is freaked out because she does not want Madame Delacroix to get caught. Eloise takes off from the party and runs out to their carriage to go to the printing press where Lady Whistledown is heading right now. Anthony, the little besotted fool, goes over to Sienna's with a little bouquet of flowers and knocks on a little door, and another man opens the door. And Sienna comes in and tells the other man to go upstairs, and she just lays out her whole heart to Anthony. She tells him she really did think about going to the party with him that night. Like, she really thought about all of it, but realized that it was a fantasy. She says that she knows her place in this world, and she is looking out for herself and for her future because no one else will. If she had gone to this party, she would have become a laughingstock, and Anthony cannot think straight because he is just so in love. Sucks because Sienna is in love too, but because of her station, she has to be realistic about what's happening for her in her life. She tells him that he is lost and he's set adrift and that he has to let her go. And guys, when I tell you, these people, their eyes are shining with the most beautiful tears I have ever seen. I mean, Sienna's eyes are full of tears that are dropping down her face, and Anthony's eyes are full of tears that never drop. It is just so beautiful. I loved watching this. He keeps telling him that he has to let her go, that the gentleman that is upstairs is not gonna try to make her into someone that she is not, the way Anthony is. And she says that in the end, Anthony will let her down again. And guys, it is just so tragic. Oh, and they both start to cry. As he apologizes to her, he just says, I am sorry. I am so sorry. And it is just, oh, Anthony, I love you. Guys, I mean, this is obviously them setting up Anthony being done with love before he gets to Kate. Anthony, you ain't done with love, okay? You're gonna meet Kate and you are gonna love her. Eloise shows up to the printing press, waiting for Lady Whistledown, and there she comes. Another carriage comes, and she gets out of the carriage to see who is in the carriage. She wants to find out who Lady Whistledown is. But then the Bow Street runner comes up, and she tells the Whistledown carriage to go, 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 it's a trap. Let's talk about a few things. This was the silliest shit. I mean, thank you for this gigantic moment, this gigantic dramatic moment, but why was the Bow Street runner waiting behind a wall? He was literally like half a mile away, running to catch up with the carriage. We now cut back to the party at Cliveden House. The ball is still going on, and both Daphne and Simon are across the dance floor kind of staring at each other. Lady Danbury walks up to Simon and tells him that he is completely messing up, like basically to go to her. And Lady Violet walks up to Daphne and she's talking to her mom about what love must be like for men, because she's clearly so in love with Simon. Mom tells her how much she misses dancing with her late husband. She tells Daphne that despite all the difficulties that she and her husband had over the course of their lives together, she wouldn't have traded it for anything. She says that she may miss him for the rest of her life, but knowing that they chose love brings her peace. I do want to jump in real quick. I went over to Julia Quinn's website because I was trying to see if Violet and her late husband's story was ever going to get written. And Julia Quinn says that she does not think she could ever write that story knowing that he's going to die. She also says, though, that she's never going to give Lady Violet, I think, another person to love, which is kind of messed up. Lady Violet got married at the age of 18, and she and her husband were married until she was 36. So he died 18 years later. This woman has a heart full of love. I'm telling you guys, like, if you read the books, she has a heart full of love for her children. And every time one of her children leaves the house, it breaks her heart a little bit because she wants them to have families of their own, but she also loves them being around her, and she gets a little lonelier every time the house gets a little emptier. I would love to see Lady Violet fall in love again. This probably will never happen. I know it is something Julia Quinn does not necessarily want to have happen, but I would really, really, really like this character to find love again because she really does have a heart full of it. The books, at least. Daphne tells her mom that she's not sure that she can patch up the relationship between she and Simon, and her mom says, you are a Bridgerton and you can do anything. After this, the final dance, which is a waltz, starts. Let me just quickly say, have you guys seen how many complaints I have? I have so many complaints in this episode. A waltz, for those of you that know what a waltz is a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It is usually in the time signature of 3/4. 3/4 is literally called waltz time. What happens here is not a waltz. It is like in 2/2 or 2/4. It's in cut time. I'm a music major. This bothers me so much. You guys also are familiar with music during this time. Can you let me know if they changed what a waltz is, or if this show was just like, yeah, we didn't feel like doing that. We called it a waltz instead of like, whatever, deal with it. This would have been a really nice opportunity to have like a nice slow waltz where she and Simon could be looking into each other's eyes as they dance versus, go watch the scene again. They're like hopping. They're like looking into each other's eyes, hopping the whole time. I'm like, come on, show, come on. Anyways, they're staring into each other's eyes as both of them hop, and it starts raining. Why in the world do they have an outdoor ball? Everyone else runs off of the dance floor, but Daphne just stands there and it's just like, oh yes, the cleansing rain. I mean, that rain is literally just a metaphor for the show cleansing away kind of all of the misunderstandings, right? And so all of the other guests are watching Daphne just ruin her makeup and her hair. She just kind of dances in the rain. And Mr. Finch, bless his dumb heart, tries to walk on. Lady Danbury stops him and is like, you know what? Party's over. I thought this was kind of wild because she told the queen to go home. Who's telling the queen to go home? And this is the moment where Daphne and Simon finally have their reconciliation. She tells him that she knows about his life because she read his letters, invading his privacy. And she tells him that just because something isn't perfect doesn't mean that it's not worthy of love. She tells him that his father was wrong, and she tells him that she is so tired of pretending about how she feels about him, and she tells him that she loves him. Loves all of him, including his flaws. And she wants him to choose love and not let his father rule his life. Meanwhile, back at the Featherington house, Portia arrives back home. There's some Bow Street runners waiting for them in the foyer, and she finds out that her husband has been murdered. She immediately runs to his office and opens the bag where all the money was, and the money is gone. And Portia is bereft, and she starts sobbing because she realizes her husband's gone, their money is gone, there's no dowries for their girls, they are ruined. The next morning, Simon, wearing his like signature V-neck to the crotch, goes to see Daphne, and he tells her that he doesn't want to be alone. And he tells her very plainly that he's just not sure how to be the man Daphne wants him to be. Daphne tells him that all he needs to do is stay and they will work through things together. Again, this didn't really work for me because I didn't see Simon as a broken person. I know the show wanted us to believe that about him, but they never played that up at any given point. So for all of a sudden him to be like, Daphne, I was broken, make me whole. And Daphne has never even apologized for what she did to him. Again, none of this plays right for me. I just think that they needed to have shown us a man who was insecure in who he was the entire season versus having this happen after what happened in episode 6. Anyways, now they've reconciled and now they can fuck. He takes her to bed, they take off their clothes, and guess what? Simon trusts her now. So you know what he does? He doesn't pull out. Yay, love! Truly, when I was writing down notes, I was like, everybody needs therapy. My God, everybody needs therapy. It's now the end of the season. We are watching all of the families from the ton get into their carriages to go back to their country homes. Now in the Featherington house, and Penelope is sobbing into Eloise's shoulder, even though it kind of seems like she's sadder about Colin leaving than she is about her own dead dad. They talk a little bit about Lady Whistledown as then the camera takes us over to Portia, looking in at her late husband's bedroom. And Marina comes up to her and it's just like, how did you survive 20 years in a marriage with no love? And Portia tells her that there are little things you love and big things you love, like your children, and that makes it all right. Portia tells Marina that Marina is strong and will do well. And that's when we learn that Marina did say yes and is gonna go with Philip Crane. Okay, we're gonna give a couple different spoilers here. I have mentioned this other places, but I do wanna just bring this up again and my concerns about Marina and that character. If you guys do not wanna know about this, check back in with me at this point. In the books, guys, Philip Crane marries Eloise. This is Eloise's future love interest. This is her future amazing husband. In the books, he does have 2 children, and in the books, his former wife was a woman named Marina. Marina was formally engaged to his brother before his brother died in a war, and then she ends up getting married to Philip. The 2 children that Philip has are not out of wedlock. They are his and Marina's children. Marina is not a cousin of the Featherington. She is actually a Bridgerton cousin. Eloise notes in the book that Marina had been melancholy her entire life, something that continues into her relationship with Philip. Melancholy during this time would have been depression. When Marina has her children, she suffers from postpartum and falls into even further depression. When the children are around 9 years old, Marina tries to kill herself in a lake out back by drowning herself. She doesn't succeed because Philip is able to get her out, but she dies from pneumonia a few days later. So if you guys have been watching with me, I keep saying something to the effect of things get worse and worse for this particular character. If this is the same Marina that is in the books, then what we have seen is nothing but sorrow for Ruby Barker. Her character is gonna have nothing but bad things happen to her, and then somewhere around season 4, she will end up killing herself. I truly hope the show changes this. I really thought, and I really had hope that they would change something like that. I'm gonna be real honest, I don't think that they're gonna end up changing it. Maybe guys, we should get on the internet and be like, never kill off Ruby Barker! So they get like with the program and make sure that her character has a different ending. I still do need Eloise and Philip to get together, but so I was thinking maybe Marina runs away, right? Maybe she has the kids and realizes that this is not the life she ever wanted to have, so maybe she goes to France, something like that, but please, I do not want her to die. Anyway, back to the show. After Marina and Sir Philip take off, Portia finds out from a slip of paper who's gonna inherit the estate, and she looks shook. I can't give you guys any information about this. Again, this is all show invention, so we are now completely off in no man's land. I have no idea where they're gonna take the Featheringtons next season. Across the street, Colin is leaving and the whole family sees him off for Greece. Anthony and Simon are talking to Anthony and tell him that they've decided to stay in London for just a little longer. And Anthony surprises them by saying, well, I'm gonna be looking for a countess. You know, his heart is broken, he is done with love, and he just wants to find a woman. Eloise learns from Benedict that he was with Madame de la Croix last night, which makes her realize, oh my God, I still don't know who Lady Whistledown is. Which then we cut to a scene where someone is riding in a carriage late at night and takes off their hood, and it is Penelope. I mean, I knew this already. It was nothing shocking to me. I still got a little chills down my arm. But again, for those of you guys that did not know, how did you feel about the reveal? Did this change how you felt about Penelope? Because for me, watching all season long, the whole time I was just like, Penelope ain't shit. She lying. Penelope's a liar. Well, I hate that girl. So for those of you that had no idea, how are you feeling about her now? And then we go to our epilogue scene where Daphne is having their child. In this scene, we have, I think, our first line from a dark-skinned Black woman. It is, "Congratulations, your graces, a boy." Yes, sister! I don't know your name. I'll look you up on IMDb. We should send her flowers. Girl, you got in there. Congratulations. Okay, okay. They end up having a boy, and they don't name him yet, but they say they're gonna name him after the Bridgerton convention of starting with an A. Again, a little different from the books. In the book, she actually has 3 daughters first before giving birth to the heir whose name is David. So they are changing this for the show. The couple is overjoyed, and then the show ends. You guys, we made it, we made it. I was super critical this episode, I recognize that, but I loved the show overall. Don't let that fool you. This show was right up my alley. I think this is in large part due to the fact that this was a phenomenal cast. I have to say, as an actor myself, I get so frustrated when British people get everything. If y'all look at cast, British people are taking over, right? But it's because they are so good. They have amazing training, and this cast is no exception. From top to bottom, I thought every single actor was fantastic. In particular, my favorites were Claudia Jessie, Ruby Barger, Regé-Jean Paul, Adjoa Ando, and Jonathan Bailey. But really, I just thought this cast was, they embodied these characters, had such commitment to lines that probably felt silly saying them, but they truly did an amazing job with this show, so bravo to the cast. I remain disappointed in the Daphne Simon storyline. Guys, I would have sworn on some of y'all's mamas that they were gonna change that. Worry a little bit about my fave Anthony in season 2. Again, I've seen so many people hate Anthony on Twitter, and it worries me that they won't figure out a way to redeem him in season 2. I do think that his redemption story is gonna depend very heavily on who they cast as Kate. Guys, I'm letting you know, if someone from the show is watching, your task in finding a perfect Kate is gonna be so important. I kind of feel bad for the actress because this is gonna be some work. Kate is, for most of us, our favorite heroine in the book, so that's a lot of pressure, girl. Good luck. I truly don't know what's gonna happen with the Featheringtons. I do kind of feel bad that doesn't it seem like the Bridgertons had the best life ever and they made all the bad stuff happen to the Featheringtons? I was like, really? Y'all could have chose one other family to kind of put some of this misfortune on? So I don't know what's gonna happen with them at all. I remain trepidatious about it because, I will say though, in the books, because Penelope is rich, I don't think you guys understand. Penelope has sold Lady Whistledown to all the members of the Ton and probably all of the middle class in London twice a week for 6 months. She does this over the course of many years in the book. She is a wealthy woman. So hopefully at some point she'll be able to share that wealth with her family. I can't believe we made it. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this. I didn't think anyone was gonna watch this. I am an actress. I live in LA. And as you guys know, with everything going on with COVID, our industry has mostly been shut down. And I'm also an avid lover, an avid reader of romance. And so when I heard that they were doing this show, and I heard that the show was coming out December 25th, and my career has been nowhere this year, I just thought, why not? Why not talk about it? And why not share my love of romance with people? And why not talk to other romance lovers as well? So I am so blown away. Thank you guys so much. Again, I expected there to be 15 people watching, my little 15 subscribers. So you guys have just made this so amazing, and I love you. I'd love to recommend, for those of you guys who are watching this show and you have never read historical romances, but your world has now been opened, I'd love to go ahead and recommend a couple other series that you guys should check out that I think you will also like. To me, the undisputed queen of historical romance is Lisa Kleypas. I think Lisa is just the tippity top. My favorite series by her is the Wallflower series. I think I mentioned that a few episodes ago when we talked about Gretna Green. The Wallflower series by her is just chef's kiss. I've read this series, I think, when did the books come out? The first Wallflower series came out in 2006. And so for me, it's been really fun because I've found new favorites. There's 4 books in the series, and I have loved different books as my favorite at different points in my life. So sometimes when I'm feeling a certain way, I'll love Lillian a little bit more. Sometimes when I'm feeling a certain way, I'll love Daisy a little bit more. So I highly suggest this book series. It is called the Wallflower series, and it starts with the book called The Secrets of a Summer Night. A series that is actually kind of close to this one in that it takes place within a family is by Mary Below. It is the Bedouin Saga. I don't love all the books in the Bedouin Saga, but there are some that I absolutely adore. In particular, I love Slightly Scandalous, which is book 3, and Slightly Dangerous, which are book 6. But if you guys are also looking for another kind of like within the family romance novels, and it's like 6 books in the series, I really enjoy this one. An author I just discovered this year is Tessa Dare. I mentioned her in another one of my videos, and she currently has a series out called Girl Meets Duke. I've really liked all the books so far. There are gonna be 4 books in this series, I believe. The first one is called The Duchess Deal. I really liked The Duchess Deal. So go ahead, get into Tessa Dare, and again, the first book in that series is called The Duchess Deal. All of these books are very white. They take place within the ton usually, and within an all-white England. So for those of us who are looking for authors who do historicals but also have people of color, here are a couple more suggestions. I'm actually currently reading a book by Courtney Milan. Courtney is a half Chinese author, and she has a book out called The Duke Who Didn't that I'm currently enjoying. I'm reading that one. It takes place during historical times between 2 Asian characters, so please go ahead and get into that. There are also authors like Beverly Jenkins and Alyssa Cole who write Black characters within historical settings as well, so please check out all of these authors. They are amazing. I could honestly talk about romance novels for forever. I am a huge lover of contemporary romance. There are so many contemporary romance authors who I love, especially they are women of color like Talia Hibbert or Kennedy Ryan or Alicia Rye. So guys, there's a whole world out there, and if you are looking for a more diverse cast in your books, please look towards contemporary because they are killing the game right now. Okay guys, this is it. I'm leaving. I've seen some people ask what I was gonna do next for a review. I don't know. You guys, I'm exhausted. I have been, since Bridgerton came out, I have been working upwards of 16 hours a day, rewatching, taking notes, editing, putting on makeup and hair, figuring out outfits, doing all of this. So I'm tired. A girl is tired. I'm supposed to be on vacation. I have been working every single day since Christmas, so I'm a little tired. I can't even think about what I'm doing next. For sure, I will be doing Bridgerton, the next season of it. And if there are any more shows that come out that are influenced by romance novels, I would love to do those. If you guys hear about them, please let me know. Hey, my lovelies, I am out. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, leave all your comments below about how you felt about it, what you think will happen in season 2. I've already seen articles coming out about people talking about season 2. Those of us that have read the books, guys, what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think they're gonna change? I hope they don't change Kate too much. I love her so much. Hey guys, I love you. See you next time. Bye.